Hello, welcome to the Gallant Goblin. Theo is back in Georgia due to his mom being in the hospital. Thank you for all the kind words and well wishes that you've been sending. In the meantime, since no good deed goes unpunished, you're stuck with me. I'm Grady, and normally the one behind the camera and editing the videos, but if you don't want to deal with me, perhaps I can soften the blow with some owls. That's right, owls! Some of you may know that Theo lived in Japan for 6 years teaching English. He talks about the JET program that he worked with in the video in the eye in the corner of the screen right there. He kind of taught English there. We went back to visit in 2016, and as part of that trip, we got to see Nara, which is famous for deer who will bow at you in exchange for food, but if they bow and you don't give them food, they become a bit less polite.
That was skin. You get nothing.
We also visited an owl cafe there. Now, I have mixed feelings about animal cafes featuring animals that aren't commonly domesticated or at home indoors. It feels a bit exploitative. The owls seemed okay and very, very cute, but I'd do your own research before visiting one to decide if you're comfortable with the idea and to make sure that the store is ethical. Like, I don't know, the owls there are rescues or agoraphobic. Which makes me wonder if you could domesticate and exploit any animal, say in an imaginary TTRPG situation, what sort of cafe would you open up? I mean, really, I would probably stick with cats, but otherwise I've been obsessed with these chinchillas that I've been seeing online. So why are we talking about owls? Because today we are looking at Strixhaven Set 2, a mini set that contains no owls, but is for a setting that added owls as a playable race called the Owlin, and then released no minis featuring them. What's that about, WizKids? At least, the Herringen got a few, even if a few of them were promos. Maybe they all got kidnapped by an owl cafe, I don't know. Maybe they're joining up for an Owlin warband, or maybe they're just lost in that void along with those kobolds in a trench coat. Speaking of kobolds, oh my god, we have kobolds for the Big Bad Booklets this month! The Big Bad Booklet, in case you're not familiar, is a zine produced by our sponsor, Hit Point Press, featuring a new boss each month that you can use as a side quest or one-shot, or, as a major villain in your campaign. Each booklet contains a backstory, role-playing advice, stat blocks, rewards, and now VTT assets and a 3D printable STL file of the boss so that you have everything you need to run a memorable adventure for your table. This month, come meet what the heck is this abomination? I thought we were talking about cute kobolds. Oh, okay, let's see what the notes say. Oh, with the aid of Phagn's mirror, the kobolds reincarnated their beloved dragon god, old Alkinimic. Though this mimic is not quite as the dragon once was, understatement. Will you take the enormous mimic dragon down, or will Phagn's mirror create a mimic monstrosity of you? Well, that sounds cool. Back Hit Point Press's Patreon at bigbaz.com before September ends to get old tongues Alkinimic here. So Strixhaven Box 1 was a collection of monsters from the Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos sourcebook. You can see that review in the eye in the corner of your screen now. Box 2 provides you minis for your player characters or NPCs. These are ostensibly students at Strixhaven, and the book actually provides a bunch of named students that you can use as supporting NPCs in the provided adventures. A couple of the minis match the art provided of the students, the rest don't. They're all based on art from the cards of the Magic the Gathering Strixhaven set, and since the D&D book repurposed a lot of that art, most of the overlap seems to be due to that. They're all excellent scholar or caster figures though, and I think you can find a lot of use for them. We'll start with the first-year student. Eager to learn, full of promise, brimming with energy, I like to think of them as red shirts. Survive the year, maybe we'll give you a name. I'm kidding, the book is actually quite lighthearted, filled with thrilling encounters like taking midterm exams. There's actually 4 standalone adventures, one for each year at the university, because Strixhaven is like high school, but aged up to college students, so adults don't have to feel weird about playing underage characters going to prom. Then we have characters representing each of the 5 schools at Strixhaven. They're Harry Potter houses, let's just get that out of the way. Lorehold is super fun. They're archaeologists. You get to be Indiana Jones. You bring statues to life so you can interrogate the person it depicts about what they did in life that made them deserve a statue. You get machine gun scrolls. There's also a lot of elephant people, also known as Loxodon, enrolled here for some reason, maybe because an elephant never forgets and so they care about history. This figure comes with a scroll with some mysterious text written on it. element, which is a nice little detail, and you can make up what lore it might hold. Prismari is the art school, home of the creative theater kids. In Magic terms, they focus on red and blue mana, a mix of control and aggression, which is how I feel every time someone drags me to the Nutcracker. The art for Prismari is super pretty though, and they can set things on fire and claim it was for a school project, so I'd totally enroll for that. It's the school that the Kenrith Planeswalker twins from Eldraine enroll in the Magic the Gathering online stories, which cover the plot of each set. Quandrix is for math prodigies, but they're like Neo from The Matrix. They believe math underpins all of reality, and so by studying magical math, they're able to manipulate the fundamentals of nature, adjusting probabilities, or even reweaving the fabric of space and time. The pinnacle of their mastery of the universe is called the Vorzani conjecture, and there's also a short official MTG story online about Zimone Wola, a student of Quandrix. Attempts to solve the conjecture has brought tragedy to her family, and she must balance her pursuit of knowledge with the consequences that could come from achieving her goals. Most folks say Silverquill is the debate club, which is fair, but it's also kind of a lot cooler than that, no offense to debate club kids. Like, they use words and tones in their voices to control magic. They use arguments to summon ink monsters, insults to make attacks that can actually drain their foes of morale. They can use praise or inspiring speeches to heal people. They're super cool, but also still kind of emo because black mana, I don't know. Anyway, all the ink benders you see on promotional materials, that's Silverquill, and they don't need to mic drop because their opponents drop instead. Finally, we have Witherbloom, the goth biologists. Now, as a TTRPG writer myself, I understand the aversion to setting foot outside, but painting everyone who works with wildlife as emo feels like an excessively broad brush of projection. This isn't even the first time. You have all the sad fungus decay of the Golgari and Ravnica, too. I mean, it probably comes with the green and black mana territory, and I do love this figure. She has a lot of step-on-me energy going on, which I suppose is appropriate, considering she works with grass. The Magic the Gathering stories online are actually a great reference for anyone wanting to dive into the lore of the story and immerse themselves in how stories in these universes could unfold. While sometimes the stories follow the famous planeswalkers, other times they focus on characters featured on legendary creature cards, which are often notable characters in the setting who can't planeswalk. Wizards of the Coast seems resistant to incorporating these characters into their D&D sourcebooks, typically opting for original characters or nameless titled stand-ins, which seems like an odd choice. As a result, you don't tend to get pre-painted minis of them either, though WizKids has now started making unpainted minis for most Magic the Gathering releases, even ones that don't get a corresponding D&D release. So you can get named characters from the Strixhaven storyline, such as Zimone, as unpainted minis from the Nolzur's product line, and those figures also provide additional options for NPC or PC minis if you want to build your own stories with those minis instead. The paint jobs for these minis are about what you'd expect from WizKids. There are a lot of small details that are pretty clean, like their faces and the gold lines on the Witherbloom Student. The use of bold and broad colors works well for Magic, with its emphasis on the mana colors, and I think it also helps these figures stand out on the table. The semi-cartoony colors also make them look more like students or younger characters. It's a good balance between not being so vivid as to be totally cartoony, while being a bit more colorful than your earth-toned adventurers. This set is definitely not going to be for everyone, but if you're looking for some distinctive younger humanoids, this is a pretty good option. Strixhaven Box 2 is available now at your local game stores and online retailers. It has an MSRP of $49.99 US dollars, but these boxes are usually available for some discount if you shop around. Let us know what you think of them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to check out this month's Big Bad, the Mimic Dragon from our sponsor Hit Point Press at bigbads.com. And thank you for watching today. Our posting schedule may be a bit sporadic in the next few weeks. Please bear with us, and thank you for your patience. You can come chat with us on Discord or follow the latest news on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For now, stay safe, have fun, love some owls, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.